And a very good morning, everyone. It's Thursday, the 16th of May 2019, and I'm having a nice stroll through the park, is what I'm doing. I'm in Crystal Palace Park, and here we see the backside of a creature. But, yeah, so I've taken the boys to school. My youngest one comes back out of school at around about 20 past 11. Didn't fancy going home. It's a lovely day outside, and what better way to spend a morning than getting some fresh air, walking through the park that you live next door to. So much beauty and just what you want really out of a good morning, right on your doorstep. Roy West, good morning. Anyway, let's get on with the crux of this video. Toxic phone updates. Now, I want to, Reese, I'm okay, mate. Thank you very much. How are you? I want to get onto this subject because I believe that manufacturers put out toxic updates for phones. It's been widely established and admitted now by Apple that they put downgrades pretty much onto their phones of a certain age to, they say, preserve battery life. See, and they're quite open about that now after they were actually caught out with it. But Samsung, on the other hand, now I have a Galaxy S9 Plus. It's a very good phone. I don't feel the need to change it, even though I probably could get an S10 or an S10 Plus or whatever other brand of Android flavored phones that you can get out. Let me sit down here. Very good lighting today. You just put this here. There we go. There we go. That's better. Without my phone falling down the crevice of the bench. Right, so since this new S10's come out, I've found it very frustrating because I leave my phone on Wi-Fi of an evening. My phone's plugged in when I'm sleeping, as pretty much everyone else is in the world. And every night you get your Android updates for whatever various apps you have. And I'd say roughly once a month or just over every month, there's a Samsung update. And since the S10 was released, I've had about 3 of these Samsung updates, maybe 4. And it's striking me now that my phone is playing up. It's playing up. I have various issues making phone calls. I'll make the call, it will say calling, and then the call will connect and there's nothing coming out the speaker. And yet whoever's on the other side can hear me and I can't hear anything. So that wasn't an issue before, and that happens quite frequently. I find that the phone unlocks itself in my pocket and pocket dials people. Now bearing in mind I have screen lock on, which is pin protected and fingerprint protected, and even though sometimes I have the Bluetooth around my neck, I have got it set to, it detects accidental screen presses and it doesn't unlock by itself. I've got it set up the way I want it, and for some reason it's still pocket dials, which is annoying. But my favourite one recently was I took my phone out of my pocket and I tried to make a phone call to my mum, to which I was greeted on the screen with invalid IMEI number. Now I can only assume that's in reference to my phone, my own IMEI number, but none of these issues happened before the release of the S10. See where I'm going with this? It's almost like manufacturers put out these crafty updates when new technology comes out so that your phone deliberately cocks up. Yeah? So then you think to yourself, oh, my phone's playing up, I'm going to have to get a new one. And then a majority of people, but not me, no, because I'm clever, not me, I'm not going to go and do that. I'm going to use this one till it absolutely falls to pieces. Let's read some of these comments. Good morning, everyone. So Roy West, good morning. Reese, good morning. How are you? I'm very good. Good morning, Chris. Glad I caught you live again. Kieran, hi. And Kirsty House. I love you, Chris. Love you too. So yeah, this is one of these. Cover up the bloody camera thing. Let's move this further away. This is another thing. It's another thing that Samsung have done, which I'm not happy about. Is they've that's better. Yes, is there was an update for the cameras about a month ago, 2 months ago, maybe. And this lens just here is blown up. Like everything's freaking twice the size. Whereas before I could do my live quite comfortably with the camera being a bit closer to me. Now I have to sit quite far back. But no, I don't know. It's just normally I'd say it was inbuilt obsolescence. And if you've never heard of this term before, I'd never heard it until I actually believe I coined the phrase inbuilt obsolescence. You know, this is the sort of thing I'm talking about. You go and buy a washing machine, yeah? You buy a washing machine and it has its warranty. Let's just say your washing machine has a 2-year warranty, yeah? And your washing machine you use every day. You've got a family, you've got 2 kids, a dog, you know, husband or wife to keep. And your washing machine gets put on every day, sometimes twice, yeah, or 3 times if you're really feeling frivolous. And your washing machine works perfectly every single day. And just as your washing machine is about to come up to its end of warranty, usually within a week, something goes pop. Either a screw, or it won't empty, or something happens to the washing machine, always a week before the warranty expires. And you won't actually notice it until a week later, by which time your warranty has expired, and then it's new washing machine time. I swear to God, there must be some kind of built-in mechanism to make these devices break within a certain time frame. You know, with phones, I believe it's down to updates now, because there's no real reason for phones to actually slow down or cock up. Not really. You get it out the box, it's factory fresh, it works perfectly. And then over time it starts to slow down, or apps start to crash, or it doesn't make phone calls, or the speaker stops working, or what have you. But everything was fine when it was new. And the only contributing factor really, especially if you haven't dropped it, is phone updates. So is it unreasonable for me to assume that phone updates or down dates are toxic? Maybe they're the reason why a lot of people think that their phone is no good anymore. Is it because it's done deliberately to make us go and buy the new one? I think so. I think so. You see, and to be fair, I've had a bit of a bad experience with Samsung. Even though I love their technology and their phones and whatnot, I've still got a bit of pill stuck in my throat about the S8 Plus that I had when I adjusted the volume with this finger, and the screen actually cracked underneath it. Now, with that, Samsung didn't want to help me. Carphone Warehouse didn't want to help me. I spoke to a legal advisor on LBC radio, a bit of LBC, and he said that I was completely 100% right, and that it was down to the manufacturer, Samsung, or the vendor, which was Carphone Warehouse, to prove negligence. You know, and if they can't prove negligence, they had to replace it. But you know, they didn't want to do that either. So there we go. But phone updates, I believe 100% phone updates after a certain time, especially when new technology comes out, I believe they're toxic. And I believe that for anything really. I believe it's the same for computer consoles. I believe it's the same for PCs, Macs especially when you've got these new internet connected TVs. Let's see what Sarah Cornelia said. I saw one there. Morning Chris, how's you today? I'm very well. I'm sitting in the sun in the park while I'm waiting to pick up my boy from school. So there's that. But no, you've got internet televisions now. My TV is about 3 years old. It is a smart TV, you know, it connects to the internet. It's got your Netflix and your Amazon Video and this, that and the other. It's not as advanced as some of these other brand new spanking ones with 4K and HDR, blah, 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 but it gets me by. You see, my TV has never had an online update, ever, although it could. But I'm just waiting for it, because there's TVs out there that actually run on Android. You know, you actually have Android TVs. So I want to know if anyone's had any kind of update for their television, whether it's a smart TV made by a manufacturer like Sony, where it's just a internet connected TV, or it's an Android TV made by Samsung or whoever. If you've had any update on your TV to change the firmware or change the user interface or whatever, and it's gone wrong, or your TV's starting to flicker on the screen, or something's happened to it, and you know you've not done it, and you know the only contributing factor was a software update, let me know in the comment section down below. I'd be really interested to hear that. Equally, if you have an Apple device, if you have an iPhone, and you feel stitched up, basically, I mean, it's like if people that have bought the iPhone 6, for example, the iPhone 6 is what, 3.5 years old now. Pretty good phone still. I mean, when you think about it, it may not have the fingerprint scanner, but in essence, with the big screen, the good display, relatively quick for what you need it for, it's still a good device. I'm not an Apple guy myself, but I know quality when I see it, and Apple make a good product. So even the iPhone SE, my mum's got an iPhone SE, and it's a case of when it was new, it was really, really quick, and now it's just not. I'm gonna use my iPhone SE until it stops working too. I love it, and it does what I want it to do. Well, that's exactly what my mum's got, the iPhone SE. But do you find it just sometimes hangs when on certain apps? It takes a while to open them, or it might take a while to close them, or you might find that when recording video it's a little bit juddery on the screen, or just your battery life just isn't what it used to be. That's because of Apple giving it downgrades. That's what they're doing. Vinny Harris, good morning to you too. So yeah, toxic phone updates. I think any kind of upgrade on a phone, when it's software related, should actually be what it says on the tin, an update, not a down date. It should be an upgrade, not a downgrade. You see, phones shouldn't be given updates to balls them up. I wholeheartedly believe this is what's happening to me at the moment. I believe that not just myself, but many other people out there with Samsung devices, like the S9 Plus or the S8 or the S7 that's still probably chugging away, may have received updates over the last few months, and for some unknown reason their phone has started to play up. Like I said, my phone a lot of the time won't connect. Well, it'll connect, but there won't be anything coming out the speakers, or it won't make the call at all, or it will say invalid IMEI number, or it will pocket dial when the screen should blatantly be locked, and the only way to unlock it while it's in my pocket is with this finger, these eyes, this mush, or the pin. Now, with all the best will in the world, I'm pretty sure that it's just impossible to put the pin in with my leg. It's not going to happen, is it? So something's happening there. Something is not quite right there. And it never happened before. It never happened before. It's frustrating. It is frustrating. I really don't know why it does it. I think I know why it does it, but I can't prove it, can I? I can't prove it. It's my word against Samsung's, and if Samsung say, no, it didn't do it that way, you can't prove it. Okay, you're right, I can't prove it, but it just so happens that it was fine before you started sending out updates after the release of the S10, because now my phone is annoying me, and you've got a new one out. It's like you're trying to push me to buy an S10. It's not going to happen. I'll probably wait for the S11. Who's this? Custard! Ambidextrous custard. I love that word, ambidextrous. Ambidextrous. Yeah, hi, how are you? I'm very well, thank you very much. So I've been ranting on this video for 14 minutes and 30 seconds precisely. I have. Just quickly, is a few videos back, about a few weeks ago, a couple of weeks ago, I was live streaming on my PC. I was on my PC playing Warframe. Great game, great freebie. And I thought to myself, I want to separate that part of YouTube from this part of YouTube. So because I do like playing your computer game now and again, being a great big man child, what I've done is I've made a separate YouTube account specifically for streaming. So if you want to go and be a great big man child or woman child and you like playing games and stuff and what have you, go and check out Howlin' Murdoch. You can't miss it really. He's got about 10 subscribers already, which ain't bad for 3 videos. And the logo's like a brown skull with Howlin' Murdoch in diagonal kind of writing, but you'll find it. You'll find it. Oh, Sarah subbed to my gaming channel. Yay! I have an S8 and sometimes it plays up. It called people without me noticing, and also the battery life used too much. So there we go. Sophia McLeod, I'm glad you said that, because I guarantee your phone was fine up until about 3 or 4 months ago, wasn't it? I bet it was. I bet now you're having to use battery saver mode and reduce the resolution down to 1080p instead of Ultra HD, you know, and restrict CPU usage. You just push that magic battery saver button, you know, and it will go from, say, 11 hours to 15 hours battery life. But you didn't have to before, did you? I bet that's what you're doing. Because this is what I'm doing all the time. You know, I think it's going to get to a point where I have to push the battery saver button twice and make the screen go completely black and have everything switched off, and the only thing I can have access to really is Facebook, the phone dialer, and maybe the calculator. That's probably what it's going to end up coming down to. But no, when it comes to the S10 and the S10 Plus and all these new, you know, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to fold under pressure. I'm not going to be the origami guy. It's not going to happen. What I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for my EE phone contract to run out. That's what I'm going to do, because that's where my S8 contract is with them. And then once that's done, I'm going to get my pack code and I'm going to port my number over to Sky, which is where I've got this S9 from. Yes, I know, too complicated. I'm going to port my number from EE over to Sky, and then I'm going to increase my data plan with Sky to about 20 to 25 gig. And then I'm going to ride out that contract until that's done. And then by the time that contract's done, I may well get the S11 or 12, depending on what's out at the time, or just keep this one until it actually dies of death and just go SIM only. You know, it just gets to a point where when it comes to technology, how much is actually enough? I mean, what do we actually need out of it, really? I mean, what are we getting now for our money? We're getting bigger screens, okay? From literally this side to this side, all the way across as one massive screen. To me, that's a bit of a fad. You know, yes, it's nice having a big screen, but I don't want to do my ironing on it. I want to look at it. You know, it doesn't matter for me if there's a bar just here where the camera is, just here. See, I don't mind that. That doesn't bother me. You see, even on the S10, the camera's roughly there, but it's in the middle of the screen. You know, I bet someone watching this on S10s now going, oh yeah, look, just there. Although saying that this might be flipped, so I might be doing that, you know. There's a little cross just there. If I push that just there, the video. But either way, you see, it doesn't bother me. I mean, the camera, this thing shoots in 4K. This thing shoots in ultra super slow motion. You know, it does what I need it to. If you go onto my photography page on Instagram, all of those photos are done with this camera. Maybe 1 or 2 were done with another one or an actual camera, but the majority of them are done with this. You can't tell. This does exactly what I need it to, and the fact that it's receiving updates to ruin it, I think it's a bit of a piss take. What do we need out of phones really? Why do they need to be almost or up to as fast as a home computer? They don't need to be. A phone is for making calls. Yes, they're for taking pictures and maybe watching a bit of YouTube. That's it. Realistically, what else do we need them for? Think about it. It's a phone. In essence, it just makes calls. They don't need to have quad or hexa-core processors or 8-core processors and 16 gigs of RAM. What I want is a decent processor, which means it's good for processing this, what I'm doing now, a decent amount of RAM and a decent amount of storage, not anything over the top. I don't want to end up having to use it as a home computer. I don't want to end up getting up. I mean, security updates, fine, because people are snooping. You know, people are stealing identities and whatnot. Fine, give me security updates, but don't start force feeding my phone patches that actually end up ruining it. I don't want that. It's a phone for making calls. It's a phone for maybe a little bit of internet browsing. It's a phone for doing what I'm doing here. I don't need a supercomputer. I don't need it. No one really needs it. I think now in 2019, from 2017 to 2019, really, I think phones and technology have come to a point where it's not really needed to be changed because it's at its pinnacle. It's reached a peak, you know, and the only thing you can do with it now really is pull it back, slow it down to make people buy the next one because they have the potential to last for so much longer. You know, I mean, I know someone who still uses a Nokia 3310. 3310. I believe that was what, 17 years ago that phone came out. Still using it. Don't get me wrong, you know, it still works. The buttons are a bit worn out, a lot worn out. But the thing is, the battery is replaceable. The battery, you can get about 3 or 4 days charge out of it. It doesn't want anything else. To be fair, he's an old bloke, you know, but he doesn't need internet and that not. But the thing is, it lasts. It does last. I don't think I'm going to change this until at least a Samsung S11 or S12. I'm not going to go for that ridiculous folding thing. I don't need a note with a pen in it. You know, it's just one of those things. But when it comes to toxic updates, I 100% believe manufacturers put these toxic updates out to make you buy the new one. 100%. Let me see what any more comments are here. You can get phones now that fold for some reason. Yeah, I think with that one that was called the Samsung Fold actually, and there's been a few problems with that because what people did when they were testing it is they peeled off the film off the front, which actually ended up breaking the phone because that film had to be there to make a protective barrier to help fold it, sort of thing. I don't know. I think it's a case of you want your phone, you know, you're using your phone as normal, but in case you wanted to watch a video or write an email or fold it halfway and type, you can unfold it in a certain way, maybe like that, or maybe all the way, and use it as like a mini laptop or, you know, maybe as a tablet. So, I mean, I can understand the uses for it, but is it practical? No, not really. I mean, I'll tell you what I am impressed with when it comes to phones. I mean, I wouldn't own one. I don't know, maybe I would. I'm not too sure, but I'd have to test one out first. Is BlackBerry. Everyone remembers the BlackBerry. We had the BlackBerry Curve, the BlackBerry Bold. Blackberries were the phones to have about 10 years ago when everyone wanted a BlackBerry. You know, it's like micro USBs. It was like, got a BlackBerry charger. And now it's like Samsung charger. Okay, Samsung's taken over the word for BlackBerry charger because I'm pretty sure BlackBerry had it first. But no, BlackBerry are still around, you know, and they run on Android now. You can still get BlackBerry Messenger along with all the other apps that Android provide, but here's the beautiful thing. It slides down like that and you've got an actual working clicky keyboard the way they always used to. I think that's great. The thing is though, I'm not sure about the rest of the phone specs. Would I own one? I don't know. But I do like the idea of having that physical keyboard still because it's less to break. If that makes sense. Maybe it's more to break, but I don't know, I just like having that sensation. Let's have a look here. One of my best mates had a BlackBerry phone. I had a BlackBerry Bold. I did. I can't remember the numbers at the end of it, but it was the one with the chrome around the edge. I loved that phone. I did. What really annoyed me though is that you had to go onto a website to download the BlackBerry App World thing, which should have realistically been built in. But to be fair, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, that was, along with the original iPhone, you know, the phones to have, the connected phones. You know, the first 3G phones with apps that were functional, like Facebook. Instagram wasn't around at that time, but you had a decent camera apps and news apps. You couldn't play many games on them, to be fair, back in the day, but they were functional. They had their uses. And I still see them in dodgy phone shops. You know, these little corner shops where they have their phones lined up in a row that are grossly overpriced. You still see them. You still see them. And I guarantee they don't receive all those dodgy updates. I bet they still work just fine, especially if you was to get a new one. A very rare find for a new one, but I bet they'd work fine. I don't know. Toxic updates. Let me know what you think about toxic phone updates in the description. In the comment section down below. Yeah, I don't know. I just gazing into the distance. Oh, a goose. No, so there we go. So what to do? Anyway, this has been a 26-minute and 10-second video. Thank you very much for watching. I may go live again shortly, depending on how bored I am. But if it's your first time joining me and you haven't minded my dulcet tones, then hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. Drop a comment down below. And for the love of God, tell your friends. Put all these videos into a playlist and play them over and over and over and over again. That gets my views up. Anyway, I want to go. Everyone have a wonderful, wonderful day. Enjoy the weather. It's one day off for me. I'll be back to work tomorrow around about 2 o'clock. Yeah. And yeah, be good. And if you can't be good, be careful. See you later.